Alright, welcome everybody. My name's David. I'm a volunteer ranger here at Katmai National Park. I'm here with Ranger Anela, and we're hanging out. We're the only people on the platform right now. We've got two bears hanging out at the falls. Looks like 747 that we're looking at here. And just below, oh, there he is. Just below the falls here, we've got 32 chunk. So amazingly, the salmon are still running. We're still seeing sockeye salmon trying to jump the falls. We're still seeing them pull up down by the floating bridge. So we figured we'd get on here and hang out with you guys for a bit on Periscope and answer any questions you might have about, what we're seeing. And it looks like hanging out late on the river just paid off for 747. A lot of the bears right now in August, they'll move on past the Brooks River. They'll go up to Lake Brooks, into some of the small creeks that flow into Lake Brooks. That's where the salmon are actually spawning, most of them anyway. And so the bears will follow the salmon up there, so they'll go away from kind of the cam's view, usually during the whole month of August, and then they'll come back in September and feed on fish that are floating back down the Brooks River into Neck Neck Lake. But this year has been it's been really amazing how we're still seeing fish entering the river. So reflecting that, we're seeing more bears in August than we generally do. So if you're just joining us, we're on the Brooks River in Katmai National Park. Brooks Camp is the only developed area in the park. It's where most people come to visit. And at the falls where we are here, we get more bear activity than almost anywhere else in the world. The falls act as a barrier to the migration of the salmon, so the salmon kind of have to pool up before they attempt to jump the falls. The bears know that, so they come here every year. A lot of the time we get the same bears coming back year after year. So we've set up viewing platforms along the river where folks can come from all around the world and watch these brown bears catch salmon. We've also got webcams attached to a lot of the platforms. So if you want to see more live video of wild brown bears on the Brooks River, check out explore.org. They've got wildlife cams here and all over the world.
We're going to be on Periscope pretty frequently this week to celebrate the park centennial. This week marks the 100th birthday of the National Park Service. So special places like Katmai National Park and over 400 units around America are celebrating the park's birthday. So we'll be trying to Periscope really frequently throughout this week in celebration of the park's birthday.
So we want you guys to celebrate with us by visiting your national parks, and part of that is checking the bears out on Explore, hanging out with us here on Periscope, but also going to the wild natural places that are around you. I think the best way to celebrate those places is by enjoying them and by taking care of them. So again, if you're just tuning in, my name's David. I'm a volunteer park ranger here in Katmai.
And my name's Anela. I work as a park ranger here at Katmai as well. And we're really excited to be hanging out with you tonight.
So right now, we're probably about, what would you say, 20 yards?
30 yards?
Yeah, about 30 yards away from this bear. We're on an elevated viewing platform, so we're relatively safe. People come to the park, every summer, and they hang out on these elevated viewing platforms, and that's a really good way to view wildlife safely. Bears are used to seeing people on these platforms. They're not so used to seeing people on the ground. We don't allow people to hang out on the ground in this area because it's, we've got such a high concentration of bears here.
I think I run a little faster.
Yeah, I think if it was a contest, Anela would win. But as you probably know, you really don't want to run away from a bear. Bears can run about 40 miles per hour at a sprint. So they're going to outrun, even the Olympic sprinters by a long shot.
So the reason why this bear, his number is 747, he's here because of salmon. He can, even late into August, we're still having a little bit of a run. So we've been counting maybe about up to 10, 15 salmon jumping up the falls each minute, which is incredibly a lot less than what it was in the middle of July, when up to 300 or 400 salmon were jumping up the falls in 1 minute.
But even still, to have any fish jumping in August it's not normal. It's not really normal to see bears fishing. To be able to see more than 1 or 2 bears ever in August at the falls is really not normal. So we feel pretty lucky to be here right now and be able to continue to watch these guys fish even in August when generally a lot of the bears have moved on. They're in these small creeks where the salmon are actually spawning. We did just see this closer bear catch a fish not too long ago. We number all of our bears here, kind of keep track of them. A lot of the same bears will show up every year, so we can learn a lot about their about their life histories, kind of some of the things they've gone through, and what their lives have been like. And from that, we can learn a lot about brown bear populations. And we have so many brown bears here. I just saw someone ask, why so many brown bears? We have so many brown bears because we have so many salmon. And there's a lot of places with a lot of salmon, but what happens at the falls is they have to stop along their migration to try to pass the falls. It takes a lot of, it might take a lot of attempts for the salmon to actually be successful in jumping up the falls. So, as they jump and they fall back down, and they jump and fall back down, the salmon accumulate below the falls here. They really just pool up, so the bears can come in and have much better fishing conditions than they would at other salmon streams, other rivers with salmon. Another.
It looks like 747 has got a sockeye.
So, I saw another good question, one that we get a lot, but it's a good question. It's one that I didn't know when I first when I first took the job to come out here, what's the difference between a brown bear and a grizzly bear? They're the same species. It's basically the same animal. The difference is brown bears live in coastal regions. And so that means that they have access to coastal food like salmon, clams, other fish, other marine vertebrates and vertebrates. So because of that, that heightened, those heightened sources of nutrition, they're able to get a lot bigger than grizzly bears. That also, like I saw someone just mentioned here, changes their temperament a little bit. They're able to concentrate on, just taking advantage of the abundance of food that's around them. And so sometimes, or a lot of the time, they won't pay as much attention to people as maybe a grizzly bear would. If you went up to Denali and you saw a grizzly bear from 200 yards away, it might start getting real stressed out. It might start hopping at you, growling, and maybe take off, run away, try to avoid you. Brown bears, it's not that they're any less dangerous, but they're a little bit more tolerant of people being around. You certainly wouldn't be able to set up a viewing platform in Denali and watch bears, graze on blueberries. It just wouldn't work. They're not as tolerant as people as some of these brown bears are. And Brooks Camp is bears are especially tolerant because we have so many people come through here. A lot of times, people watch the bears on Explore.org. If you haven't heard of Explore, you should definitely check it out. Explore.org. They've got wildlife cams all over the world, including bear cams in Katmai. A lot of times, people watch the Explore cams and they think, "Oh, this place is totally wild and remote, and there's no people there." And it is wild and it is remote, but there are also a lot of people that come here to watch bears, and because of that, bears have kind of gotten used to people being in predictable areas like this viewing platform, and so that makes it a lot safer for us to be here. We're still separated from them, we're elevated, we're about 12 feet off the ground, so it'd be difficult for them to get up here. But the main thing is, they're used to seeing people in certain places, so they're able to carry on their business catching salmon as if we weren't here.
So all grizzly bears are brown bears, but not all brown bears are grizzly bears.
Yep. In case what I said was too clear and made too much sense. We want to throw that out there to confuse you. Yeah, this is totally live.
If you're just joining us, we're here at Katmai National Park. We're at Brooks Camp at the Brooks Falls platform, looking at coastal brown bears. Right now we've got two bears in our view. 747, who just lost a fish. And we'll move it right over here. Sorry. And here's number 32, Chunk. It seems that he's been pushed out of the prime fishing spot. 747 is much more dominant than 32 is.
And right before we started broadcasting, we saw 32, this bear that we're looking at now, approach the falls, caught sight of 747, that other bear, who's a little larger than 32, and they kind of huffed at each other a little bit, made their presence known to each other, kind of communicated that idea that, yeah, I don't really want to be around you. Yeah, I don't really want to be around you either. And so 747, the bigger of the two, he stayed right where he was. He said, this is my fishing spot. And 32 kind of moved around him, gave him a whole lot of space. He's going to let the dominant bear take the good fishing spot. And he'll stay downriver where he is, at least for now.
So we can identify different bears by the different characteristics that they have, size, color, ear shape, general disposition, and where they like to fish along the falls or on the river. If you visit our website or the Explore website, you'll be able to download our Bear ID book. We publish a new one every year so that you can follow along with the bears as the season unfolds. So if you go on to explore.org or nps.gov/KATM, you'll be able to get those books there.
Yeah, right now it's 8 o'clock Alaska time. We're still getting sun until about, 10:30 or so?
Mm-hmm.
At this point, we're losing about 5 minutes of sunlight each day. So, by the time we get to September, October, we'll kind of be back with the rest of the world, getting dark at a normal time. During July, we had light all the way until 12, almost 1 o'clock in the morning. And the downside of that, other than in case you like to sleep, is in the wintertime we're going to have
6 hours.
6 hours of sunlight. So we'll be here. We'll let you know how that goes. I saw someone ask a few minutes ago how Bear 32 got the scar on his butt. It is a new scar. We don't know exactly how he got it. It's likely that he got into a fight with another bear. Maybe he didn't give a big dominant bear like 747 the space that he should have, and maybe that bear came out and bit him right on the butt. We don't really know. A lot of things happen outside of the view of the cams. That's just kind of the nature of wild animals. We can only cover so much. But if I had to guess, I would definitely guess that that was an injury from another bear.
So 128 hasn't been seen for the past week or so?
Yeah, about a week or so is what I understand.
Oh, okay.
And so if you're wondering, what are all these numbers they're throwing out here? We number all of our bears. Our bears. I shouldn't say our bears. I don't own any bears. We number all of the bears that we see along the river. A lot of them come back year after year. In fact, most of them come back year after year. And we're able to learn a lot about, their personalities, their life histories, by numbering them and by keeping track of the individuals that use the river. And if you want to learn some of the individual bears, like Anela mentioned just a few minutes ago, you can check out the Bear ID book. It's on the explore.org website. You can also just Google Katmai Bear ID book and it'll come right up. No word yet on that mystery bear, the Knot 274 bear. Sometimes we have bears that show up that have never been here before.
There are several bears this year that will possibly get a new number.
Yeah.
If we see them enough.
Yeah. The other one that comes to mind for me is the sow with two cubs, the lighter colored cub and a darker colored cub. It's my understanding that's a bear that's never been at the falls before, as far as anyone can tell. And So I would be looking out for that bear to be entered into the 2017 version of the Bear ID book next year.
So once again this week we're celebrating the National Park Service Centennial. It's been 100 years of national parks in America, and we are so excited to celebrate with you guys. So if you follow us on Periscope, we'll be broadcasting live from the park throughout the week, and we hope that you'll join us. Some ways that you can celebrate the Park Service Centennial is by going to your own local national park. Can you guys tell us what national parks are next to you?
Yeah, throw that into the comments. We want to know. It's cool to see people, come in and say, "Oh, hey, from Kazakhstan. Hey, from New Mexico. Tell us some national parks around you. That'd be cool."
Well, originally I'm from Hawaii, so my closest national park was the Arizona Memorial and Hawaii volcanoes. David, what about you?
Yeah, I grew up in the North Bay of California. There are a lot of cool places to visit out there. The national park that was nearest to me was Point Reyes. It's an awesome place for seeing whales, migratory birds. We've got some really great hiking trails there as well.
Awesome.
Lassen, Joshua.
Aloha.
We got a Hawaii friend.
Crater Lake.
Royale, that's a cool one.
Oh man, I wish I could be there. Probably in the winter when it gets 6 hours of daylight here, I'll be heading home.
Take a little break.
Wonderful. It's great to see fellow rangers also. So it looks like 32 got a little closer to 747. We'll see what happens here.
So this is something we see a lot in bears. They'll come upon each other on the river here. They'll give each other a lot of space. The dominant bear is just gonna hang out, do his thing, let that other bear, give him a wide berth, and then slowly but surely, that subordinate bear will, kind of inch a little closer, because he wants the good fishing spot too, but he's going to be really cautious. Bears are really solitary animals, and the only times they come together are, at a concentrated food source like this, or to mate. It's air temperature, it's a pretty nice day. It's probably, 60, 65 degrees. Water's generally between 50 and 60 degrees.
And we're at Katmai National Park in southwest Alaska. and we are on an elevated viewing platform at Brooks Camp. We're looking at coastal brown bears, searching for some sockeye salmon or pink salmon. Or
Yeah. I even saw a chum salmon the other day.
Ah.
Just one.
Just one.
But yeah, the majority of the salmon here are sockeyes. In August, we do get a fairly substantial silver salmon run. But at this point, we're still seeing a lot of sockeye salmon, which isn't really normal. Most years, the run kind of ends at the end of July. This year, it's just been continuing on.
Someone mentioned bugs right now, and
yeah, there are bugs.
we are being eaten alive.
So if you see the camera wobbling, it's probably because we're swatting bugs at our face.
There's no one on the platform right now, just the two of us. Oh, thanks.
Yeah, this question from Karen. Any ideas on why the salmon is extra long this year? Why the salmon run is extra long? I've been thinking about it quite a bit, and part of it I think is probably I can only speculate. I don't have any real answers for you.
Okay, let's take a look at it.
But we do see pretty huge variations in the size of salmon runs between the different years. Sometimes Bristol Bay will get 20 million, sometimes they'll get 50 million. And so along the Brooks River, generally we get somewhere around 300,000 fish that'll enter the river. We're well above that this year. So it could just be a big year. Maybe the mild winter and early spring has something to do with the length of the run. But I've been actually emailing a couple people, and I'm hoping to find some better speculation anyway than I have. So if I get any good answers, I'll keep you guys updated.
So for everyone who just tuned in, we're broadcasting live from Katmai National Park. Yes, these are real live coastal brown bears that we're seeing, and they're wild animals. We're not in the zoo or any place that would have captured animals. We've got 2 coastal brown bears in front of us. The bear in the front, number 747, and in the back we've got 32 chunk. Unfortunately, we are kind of in the leaner August bear viewing months, where majority of the bears have moved to feeder streams where the salmon are more concentrated. But we're hoping that we'll see all those bears return in the fall, starting next month, when the salmon start to die and flow down the river. They'll all congregate at the mouth of the Brooks River in search for food.
So if you think this is cool, come check us out in September when the bears are even fatter and there's way more of them.
Oh, 32's got another one.
Yeah, I haven't seen. Well, we've seen the mystery mom. There's a dark sow, a smaller sow with two cubs, two yearling cubs. One's a little darker, one's a little lighter. And she doesn't have a number, as far as I can tell. And but that's really the only sow with cubs I've seen in the last week or so.
If she comes through camp and we have Wi-Fi, we'll try and Periscope her from there. So look out for us.
It's pretty amazing that we have Wi-Fi at all out here. If you're not really aware of where Brooks Camp is, we're on the Alaska Peninsula. There's no roads here. You know, you can't drive here. It's really even pretty hard to boat here. You pretty much have to get a float plane, land on the Neck River. You'll probably come from either Homer or King Salmon, and even those places you have to fly into as well. So you can't just drive here. It's really difficult to get structures of any kind built, or have technology like Wi-Fi out here. So that's thanks to Explore.org. They're one of our partners. They've set up these webcams all over the park. So if you want to see more live bear action in, with better video quality, check out Explore.org. And they've got wildlife cams all over the world. They've got elephants and osprey and
the beluga cam.
They've got all kinds of stuff on there. Personally, I think the bears are the best, but they're all cool.
Someone was asking about 273, and the last time she was seen with her cub was about a week ago. It looks like she's moved on to another stream, so it's good news for us because she's been hanging out in camp in August and has been pretty habituated to a lot of the things that we have set outside for her. So we're happy to see that she's moved outside of camp and is hopefully will return in the fall. Oh. So let's see, we returned to camp on the 13th or on the 12th. That was the last time I had seen her.
So I saw somebody mention that they wanted to see some more play-by-plays. Good news! We're in the process of scheduling a couple. They probably won't be quite as exciting as our July play-by-plays, where we've got several bears all at once. So we might set up and take a look at one bear and kind of focus on what he or she is up to. Tell you a little bit about their life history.
The water continues to rise here at Brooks Camp, so where are you going to do your play-by-play on Monday?
I'll do that at the falls here.
Okay.
Yeah, the water continues to rise. We have almost no beach left. We've actually had to install a new ramp to the floating bridge, a longer one, because the old one was just completely underwater. That's on the campsite, so that's a little more, you probably can't see that from the view of the cams, but when people walked on it, they would just get soaked up to the ankles. So we put in a new extended ramp to try to alleviate that problem, but the water just keeps rising. There's probably, I don't know, maybe a foot of beach left.
Well, once again, we're looking at wild bears at Katmai National Park. We're at the Brooks River on a platform, on an elevated platform, viewing these coastal brown bears feeding on sockeye salmon, possibly silver salmon, and pink salmon as well. And we're doing this in celebration of our national parks. This coming week is our national park birthday, our 100th birthday. So I hope that you'll go out and find your park. You'll explore someplace near and dear to you. And if you like, you can also join us and find your park, find your bear on explore.org. We've got several live cams in the park so that you can join us at Katmai as well. So these are wild brown bears, and it is up to us to protect them. Unfortunately, because we're such a remote park, not everyone is allowed to visit, but we hope by the bear cam and through social media that you guys will learn about our bears and also hope to protect them for the next 100 years and even more than that. So thank you again for joining us today. I'm just about done being eaten alive by the no-see-ums here.
Oh, I was just starting to enjoy the no-see-ums.
The cam keeps moving because we keep itching our hands.
So, if you want to learn more about Katmai, learn more about the Brooks River, about the bears here, there's a couple different ways to do that. You can check out our Katmai terrain blog. We post articles there every week about different stuff that's going on in the park. You get a cool, different perspectives on some of the resources here. Whoop, these bugs again. So you can check out the Katmai terrain blog. You just Google Katmai terrain blog, come right up. If you want to see more bears live like this with even better video quality, check out explore.org. They've got wildlife cams all over the world, and they've got several here in Brooks, along the Brooks River, so you can see the bears from different angles, and you can tune into those all day. And see more stuff like this. If you want to learn more about kind of the individual bears, if maybe you've seen explore.org, you've checked that out a little bit, go check out our Bear ID book. It's a free download. It gives you a description and some pictures of most of the bears that use the river, so you can get to know a little bit about their life histories, about what makes them unique. And from learning the individuals, we can learn a lot about the bear populations as a whole.
And to celebrate with us, if you go online, you can search for your closest national park, and I hope that you'll visit them today. We've got some fee-free days coming up, so you can visit your national parks for free this week. So I hope that you'll join your local national park.
All right, guys. So thanks for tuning in. We'll catch y'all later.